joining. We are just going to wait for a few more moments to let everyone join, and then we'll get started. Okay. Well, we're just after 2 p.m. Eastern time, so we'll get started. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for our discussion about reliable and integrated AV solutions for courtrooms. We have a nice group today. I'd love to keep it casual. So if at any point you have any questions, feel free to use the chat. I'll be monitoring it and we can actually chat about your question right then and there. But then for sure at the end of this, we'll have time for doing some Q&A. And if you raise your hand, we can even unmute you so that you can ask your question and we can chat in real time. So with that said, I'll get started. My name is Claudia and I'm from PTZOPtics. I'm in charge of our global marketing here. And today I'll be hosting our experts on this topic from both BEINCOURT and NETGEAR. So from BEINCOURT, we have Gregory Fechner and Phil Kaiser. And from NETGEAR, we have Nicole Lewis. I'd love to take a moment to let everyone introduce themselves really quickly and mention a little bit about what they do, and then we'll get into our topic today. So, Greg, would you like to start?
Sure. Thanks, Claudia. Appreciate it. Greg Fechner, Vice President of Business Development here at BEINCOURT. I'm responsible for helping courts modernize their courtroom technology, and key figure here at the company in trying to develop new technologies to make courtroom technology accessible to many courts.
Great.
Good
Phil?
afternoon. Yeah,
Yeah.
Phil Kaiser, CTO of BEINCOURT. I'm in charge of architectures and new technology to kind of help streamline courtroom processes and procedures. BEINCOURT is not only a system, so we just it's a system integration company, but we're also an original equipment manufacturer as well, and we manufacture a lot of key pieces of equipment that go into courts. So, yeah.
Great. And Nicole?
Good afternoon. I'm Nicole Lewis. I'm one of the system engineers in the AV group at NETGEAR, and I work with quite a few of the courts around the country regarding network designs and implementation as well as doing hands-on trainings for the courts also.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. So I think you can tell we've got some very smart people on the discussion today. And like I said, for anyone who may have joined since we started, we've got a nice intimate group here. Feel free to throw any of your questions at any point into the chat. Because the intention today is for us to have a conversation around what the current situation is for justice system and courtrooms in specific and their AV needs. So I thought we'd get started today and maybe open it up to the panel here to kind of talk about what are some of the current typical frustrations. You know, we've been hearing from so many jurisdictions that they just need something that's reliable, or they just need to know that it's going to be secure, or please don't take over my entire courtroom. You know, so maybe Greg and Phil, you know, why are AV systems such a headache for so many courtrooms?
Yeah, I'll start off, I guess. I think the most prominent scenario is obsolete and unreliable, outdated equipment. That's the start, right? So oftentimes, courts don't have a huge budget for technology. So in most scenarios, courts are using technology that's decades old, and that technology becomes obsolete and troublesome over the course of many years, right? So unfortunately, oftentimes courts don't have the budget to afford the high-end modern-day courtroom technology systems, so they're trying to make do with what they currently have, and that that's a source of a lot of the frustration out there. But Philip, I'll let you add to that if you want.
Yeah, I'll pile onto that a little bit. I think a lot of it is really around budget constraints. Small and mid-sized courts and jurisdictions simply can't afford a lot of the traditional the enterprise heavy over IP systems. There are a lot of solutions over built for what the courtrooms actually are going to need. Then I would say ease of use is always a problem. Judges, clerks, and the assistants often operate AV themselves, and the interfaces can be too complex. They require a lot of training, a lot of live support on, I guess, every session. And then also, I'd say operational efficiencies. So technology can be a little bit, I guess, fragmented. It can give you a laggy video, unclear audio, and those types of things. Poor. I see poor video and audio as the major issue in I guess a lot of the courts and the hybrid situations, and reliable cameras that actually capture everything. So all those things kind of really are plaguing a lot of the courts. A lot of courts are not able to do a custom software solution for 2 or 3 courtrooms, and so being able to kind of go back and leverage maybe a system that is already up and running and designed and built cohesively can really be a big advantage. So
Yeah, so it sounds like the idea of a plug and play solution is more interesting to people who maybe this isn't their core competency because they actually have a day job. They are the judge. They are actually working in the courtroom and they just need things to work. That brings me to, though, I would love to ask Nicole too for her take on this, because it does sound like it's like a fear factor too. How are you going to get things to work together? How do you even build the network? How can you ensure that people don't get overwhelmed, especially like the IT team, when even the discussion comes up to, hey, let's upgrade our AV system here in this courtroom.
Right. That's the biggest thing that I see, Claudia, is the concern of IT people traditionally that are coming into the AV space, or they need to build out a courtroom. Obviously, we all know that the infrastructure has to be solid, right? It's layer 1 through 4. So you've got to have the appropriate switches. Do the switches provide the amount of PoE budget for your cameras and your end devices? So after, of course, just researching all of that, how do I actually configure this network, in essence, in these courtrooms to ensure that I don't flood the data side with multicast? And I think that's one of the biggest fears or concerns that I hear from IT people that come into the AV space. I don't want my network flooded. Also, with AV people that are traditionally building more and more of these rooms, their concern is, do I have to be a network engineer? Do I have to be a CCNA? What about the security aspects? So all of those things are what I hear the most, how to address that and properly ensure that I'm not going to have video or audio latency bandwidth issues during a court procedure.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not stable
Yeah.
and it's not reliable, then it defeats the whole purpose of investing in it. You know, let's circle back to that kind of efficiency, the reliability of the AV solution, and what that really means for courtrooms. Like, why is it worth? It sounds like this is a lot of a hassle, but why is it worth it even to embrace or look into upgrading existing technology or actually implementing a solution? What does that mean if you can actually handle more cases, or if your virtual proceedings can actually happen better? Is there any feedback from customers who have already gone through this process?
Well, yeah, I think the pandemic has taught us a lot of lessons. right? I mean, hybrid court's not going away. Virtual justice is here to stay. As you mentioned, the use of technology has made courts more efficient, has allowed judges to hear more cases without having to transport prisoners from the jail to the courthouse and worried about security concerns and those types of things, right? Being able to connect to a Teams or a Zoom call and have a virtual proceeding right there and take care of those hearings is making the courts more productive for the community. So there's that aspect of it, but at the end of the day, courts need to be able to afford the technology. Again, it comes back to budget, and you can take that savings of the inmate transfer and all those types of costs that are associated with that, invest a fraction of that into a virtual hearing and have that pay off in spades. So I think that's just one small aspect of it, but the use of technology is out there, and unfortunately, a lot of the smaller courts in rural and underserved communities aren't seeing the benefits of it just because they can't afford it. So we're trying to help solve that problem and make it more accessible for them.
Yeah, and that's an interesting ROI point, because that was really going to be my next question, is to say, how can we help lower this barrier or the cost of entry for smaller and mid-size courts and jurisdictions?
Yep.
Go
I was
ahead.
going to say that's a great one. We've been focusing, I guess, at being court a lot on consolidation. Can we take pieces of video and the direction of video and the annotation and BYOD and all these different types of features, even document cameras that the courts want, but they've had to buy, piece piecemeal dedicated solutions to do all of that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. So what we have focused on is trying to create end-to-end systems that, as I said earlier, we're not just a system integrator. We actually, I guess, are making and manufacturing our own pieces of equipment that consolidate a lot of this and reduce a lot of that cost. So now you've got a single box that can do annotation and can do BYOD, also a direct NDI cameras that are natively built. So, all the days of having to have expensive encoders and decoders and also add all the cost of maintenance on top of all those different pieces of equipment, that is all going away. We are, I think, really in this age of simplifying a lot of that equipment and the cycles of the maintenance, as well as it's less equipment that can go, I guess, that can go bad. So now you've got a system that is really, I think, as Nicole said, is reliant on the infrastructure and the switch. And as long as that, I guess, is up and running and stable, all the other pieces are up and running and stable. And now you've got all kinds of protocols like AVB and Dante that can now work and seamlessly create all the QoS and the mechanisms to make sure that the system is up and running and reliable. Because as we've seen in courts, if they come into a courtroom in the morning and the system is down and they have to call someone, it takes an hour or two to get it up and running. The reliability and the confidence in that system, it goes away. And now they go back to what they used to do, which is really inefficient. So I think all those are good points. So.
Let me share actually a typical diagram of this workflow that you were just explaining. And I think that might help if any of you want to jump in and sort of explain. You can almost see the simplicity of the actual network in this. And maybe that helps drive home what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'd say at the core, right in the middle, and right where it should be. And Nicole, I don't mean to steal any of your thunder, but that PoE switch is essential. And so that needs to be up and running. Netgear makes a great line of switches. The Pro Edge AV line They can do AVV and Dante and has all kinds of profiles in it. They can seamlessly open and discover any of those PTZOPtics cameras that are sending out NDI information and broadcast messages all the way over to the BEINCOURT, right? So we have our stream sync that is consolidating all the so the registration of the cameras. We then can output any of the cameras and video into Teams or Zoom, as well as the displays in the courtroom as well. There are HDMIs on the back of that to easily access that. We can also do a low-cost decoder as well to get any of the monitors that may be in the overflow rooms or jury areas, and then ultimately mute, unmute any of that we need to. What we don't have in this is also all the microphones in the courtroom. So if we've got Dante microphones in the courtroom, we can map those to the camera and actually provide an active speaker capability in the courtroom. So now you've got people who attend on Teams and Zoom who can see and actually get that active speaker who is talking in the courtroom. Now you've got a better experience for the people who are going to be in the remote aspects. But what you're not seeing here is tons of encoders and tons of decoders and all that complexity. Also with NDI, you get very quick switching. So now if a judge or the JA is touching on the panel and they hit a camera or they want to see a certain type of view or they want to go and look at the evidence or the document camera, it switches instantaneously, right? Right. There's not a delay or a decoder has come unregistered and fallen off of the network. Those type of things just don't gonna happen anymore. So yeah, it really has simplified a lot. Not to mention now you've just got Ethernet. So now you've got a lower cost of that implementation in the courtroom. A lot of our courtrooms are older, so there's a lot of restraints around, can I put a hole in a piece of furniture? Do I need to really run separate AV cabling and Ethernet as well? No, you just need to run Ethernet and you've got the power coming out of the switch. So really, this is the way to do it now, and to do it effectively, and I would say more cost effectively. So
And
I'll
on
add
that,
on to that. I was
oh,
gonna say, I'll go ahead. Go ahead, Nicole.
actually, I was going to say, and on that note, Phil, too, regarding this diagram here, which is a very typical, type of courtroom, uh, there's also an uplink from, for example, the network switch to the data side. So, for example, if they want to use their voice over IP phone in the courtroom, you would separate that via a particular VLAN. And one thing that we've done so well with using of course, we have the Broadcom chipsets, which makes that video switching happen instantaneously. But we can block multicast on that uplink port going to, for example, the data portion so that the IT people don't have to be concerned about any sort of flooding of the network. One thing too to point out is oftentimes in many of the courtrooms, they may have their data, or I'm sorry, their Dante VLAN separate from their video VLAN. So what we've done is we've made it so easy where you choose a particular profile, and with inner VLAN working beautifully on our switches, you don't have to get into different kind of static routes or anything complicated. So we've really, really made it easy for people to go ahead and implement the proper infrastructure for all of your cameras and monitors to work seamlessly.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too. So a design like this is actually, really caters to your more historical courthouses. right? Where, where there's limited conduit, right? Maybe you have a small conduit piping and you need it's very restrictive. It's from a cabling aspect. So when you look at a CAT design, that allows you to be more flexible in the design of the system, without having to make new conduit runs or doing major construction in a building that maybe either have historical significance or may have asbestos or something of that nature. So these systems are allowing, these types of systems are allowing for historical and older buildings to be able to have technology input in them. So
Yeah, I love where this is going. It really helps explain to me it's not just less equipment, so there's fewer points of failure. It's not just less integration points, so there's less complexity and it's easier to use and operate. It's also less clutter. It's less space. It's less opportunity for someone to trip over a cable. As someone who's done a lot of live events, to know that it doesn't take catastrophic failure to ruin your stream. It usually is a simple human error of someone unplugging something.
or a cup of
So
coffee.
yeah, so seeing that it's two very simple pieces of very critical equipment that can be easily put inside a closet or a locked cabinet. That's pretty exciting. It actually made me want to think about asking you about some of the other ways that this technology is maybe even consolidated even more
Yeah.
and made more mobile. I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to talk about some of those sort of out of courtroom
Yeah,
solutions.
absolutely. And I'll take this one, Philip. I think it's important to understand that not all jurisdictions have a courthouse. Some jurisdictions or some communities don't have a courtroom, right? So we do a lot of work with tribal courts, for example, and in a lot of cases within the tribal community, they have to bring court to the community. So over the last 2 years, Philip and I and the team have really developed this solution called Easy Court, which is a unique system in the market that nobody else in the world has developed, that allows for a mobile courtroom that can be deployed anywhere in the world, with with HD proceedings, and then we have native tie-in to Starlink. So being able to go to a very rural community, tie into Starlink, and have the ability for those tribal courts to have their proceedings is key. So being able to be able to take that system and deliver it, via plane, boat, UTV. There are some crazy scenarios out there, but at the end of the day, being able to deliver that is important. So
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to think that not only the consolidation of equipment and integration points affects in a physical space, but also allows for emergency situations, disaster recovery type situations, and as you mentioned, truly remote locations, and actually bring that connectivity and communication. It's pretty exciting. Be- so maybe we can talk a little bit too about that idea about quality of the audio and video that this is affording now too. Not only does that look more professional, but it really has been one of the whole drawbacks to this technology so far in courtrooms is when you can't hear or see properly. It almost, it can affect the actual proceedings. It can affect the outcomes, and it can definitely be detrimental if it's not working. So maybe talk a little bit about the efficiency and sort of raising the bar for the actual audio and video quality.
yeah, Philip, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I think SoundSphere is a solution that we built, that really puts the audio in front of the participant. Um, it's got basically a tweeter, a mid-range in it. It's got a microphone input. What is great about that is that it can help tame environments that you normally could not tame, like a lot of glass, 20-foot ceilings, marble, wood everywhere. You've got a lot of people in a very tight area, and then integrating all that into the DSP, where you can do all of the EQ right? Mix and minus, and make everyone sound amazing, and not over preparing as well, right, in the courtroom. What's also great about that is, like we said earlier, right? All you need is Ethernet. You're getting all the power off the switch. You got a 30-watt speaker built into the unit, and so you can put that right in front of the person, and run just that Ethernet to them, and now you're good. You don't have to worry about overhead speakers. You don't have to go and worry about asbestos and permits and all the different things that a court has got to, I guess go and do. Um, what's also great about that is now that the audio, I guess, is digital, running through everything on the switch and into the DSP, you can route people like interpreters, right? Right, right. As Nicole said earlier, we can integrate a phone line, right into the DSP and route interpreters directly into the headphone jack of that sound. So sounds, I say sounds fear has really changed as the game in courts and proceedings. And then it, as you know, it can be moved around. It can be put into a box. You can take it out to a rural area court and set it up as a temporary
Yep.
deal. So a
Disaster
lot of
recovery or
flexibility. Yeah.
yep.
So
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm hearing over and over. Of course, from the PTZOptics side, we love that idea, and that's why of being easily integrated, sort of the plug and play aspect. It's why we've been real supporters of NDI, for not just the integration, but also then the control of the cameras. But it sounds like this is really where this solution has gone for courtroom technology, even to the point of the ability to easily set up the switch, right? On the NETGEAR side, it's not just frustrating people who have to do the integration, but making it so that even, let's say, smaller jurisdictions who don't have full-time personnel, they actually can implement it, and they almost don't even need to know behind the curtain what's happening. They can just rely upon it.
So true. Yeah. And on that note, too, I mean, traditionally, Claudia, they've had to go into the command line of the switch. They've had to set up DSCP settings. They've had to set up class of service, quality of service. And fortunately, we've made it to where you just don't have to do that. So you don't have to um, uh, go into a putty session and you just pick the profile or pick Dante or video or NDI and it's done. All of the settings, all of the requirements in order for those protocols to work are immediately applied to the switch at the global level as well as at the port level.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I'll add to that real quick, from an easy court perspective, right? When we deploy a mobile system with the NETGEAR switch and a patch panel, right? We can literally roll two cases into a room, any room, connect point A to point B from all the devices to the switch, turn it on, it just works, and have the room set up and ready for a hearing in less than an hour. That includes 6 stations, your judge, your witness, your attorneys, everybody that's involved, recording, the whole aspect of the solution being set up and be ready for a proceeding in less than an hour. That's an incredible feat.
and that includes PTZOptics and their
Exactly.
cameras on
Absolutely.
tripods with just a cable connecting them back into the switch. We don't have to worry about power. We don't have to worry about mounts or where we're going to put an encoder that is going to be a tripping hazard or something of that nature. So it's just a great solution. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's been really, really beneficial to the communities we've been able to provide it to. So
It also sounds like it allows maybe some of those communities with lower budgets to at least get started in a small way and then
Yes.
be able to scale up, whether, maybe it's just with 1 or 2 monitors, 1 camera, 1 microphone, but then because of this ease, it's you're literally just plugging in new devices to expand.
And
the
it's all color
solution.
coded. So it's like literally green to green, blue to blue, red to red. I mean, it's that simple.
That's
if I can set it up, anybody can set it up, right? I mean, that's kind of the standard. So
Well, one of the things we were going to do was do a little demo, but I wanted to point out to any of the attendees, if you look at the attendees here right now, you'll actually see the experience center that Greg is sitting in. He's joined as a participant from his computer, but we're actually seeing the view from several of the computers in their experience center. I think it might be kind of cool just to talk a little bit about what you have set up there, in case at some point someone would love to do a demo with you. Maybe just walk them through what they see.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
yeah.
so what you're seeing here, you've got four images on screen. One from my laptop, which is the one facing me here. We've got the judge's camera. So we've got a camera dedicated to the judge, a camera dedicated to the witness, and then a camera dedicated to the podium and the console stations. Right. So this whole solution is run on the EasyCourt platform as well. So again, literally a plug and play type of scenario where we've got 3 cameras, evidence presentation from a document camera, BYOD from a handheld device, laptop connectivity, audio through our SoundSphere, and everything's running through our StreamSync solution. So again, it's a perfect solution for like a small to medium size hearing or courtroom. And it also includes the functionality of like annotation. It's all built in, right? So all these features are built into this solution. We've developed it again for those courts who need to have a more affordable, accessible way to get technology. So we're able to develop this and deploy it for a fraction of the cost of a traditional AV solution that you might find in a courtroom. So we're really excited about it. We'd love to host anybody who'd love to come and check it out and kind of go deep into the weeds as to what they're getting and why it makes sense.
And one of the things that we have available with the PTZOPtics cameras is our Hive linked capability. So actually we can even do a lot of remote real-time monitoring of the camera feeds, which is kind of a cool feature if these are being managed from a centralized location or someone in another location. So there doesn't actually even need to be anyone on site.
Well, oftentimes the courtrooms, the courthouse has a control room, right? For the AV guys, the IT guys to sit in their control room and they're able to see every courtroom, right? So the Hive scenario is a perfect scenario for them to be able to see every courtroom and what's happening in those at any given moment using Hive. So that's a great solution. And we're proud to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, very cool. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions. I have one that was submitted outside of the chat, which was, can you talk a little bit about what the real cost of implementation is for a small courthouse? So, what are somebody looking at if they're starting from scratch?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking at from the ground up, right, not including the network infrastructure, which Nicole can talk about, but from an AV perspective, we're able to deploy a small to medium sized courtroom for in the neighborhood of $50,000 all in. So, I mean, that's typically about a third of the cost of a higher end trial courtroom, which opens the door to many courts to be able to look at and consider putting technology, and that includes that hybrid aspect of it, right? Being able to bring in that Zoom and Teams hybrid functionality, which a lot of courts simply are still struggling with today, even after the pandemic. So being able to have that fully integrated into a technology solution that for that cost is almost a no-brainer. So it's just a matter of getting the word out and helping them understand that it's available to them.
And it sounds like too, because of the reduced complexity of the installation or the less intrusive nature of it, the downtime to implement something like this wouldn't be as drastic as some other infrastructure. Yeah. So I mean,
we can get them up and running quickly. Yeah, absolutely. It's a simple solution, so it's easy to deploy.
That's
awesome. And I have something to add to that too. I've been, of course, I do a lot of work with the federal courts as well, and they were finding that they were finding that oftentimes when you go outside, it's an enormous amount of money to spend, whereas if you can do it in-house, you can save quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so just on the networking side, which is not very much, but okay, so you run your Cat 6 cables and you install your switch with the mobile cart situation. Very easy with Starlink. You could get one of our Pure 460X's, our dual WAN router. It's less than $800. So from an infrastructure standpoint, it's really just the cost of running the cable. So not very much at all. Yeah.
And we're seeing that a lot, right? We're seeing a lot of courts look to having someone inside inside their staff do these deployments, right? The cost of a professional installation is expensive, right? So they're trying to find, and budgets are going down for courts, so they're trying to find every possible edge to be able to put in the latest and greatest technology at as a much of a reduced cost as possible. So having somebody inside their staff deploying this stuff, as simple as it is, becomes a benefit for them.
Right.
I have a couple follow-up questions. One that leads directly to that, which is, so what is the learning curve then for using this sort of all-in-one solution? Can you speak
I
to
can
that
comment
at all?
to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
mean, typically, we've built a solution called Court Control, which is our court control software that controls all the components in the room. So we actually went to a panel of judges, set for a couple of weeks, even designed all the iconography on the GUI interface so that it was easy to understand and use. Usually everything can be done with a button click or less. And what we have seen when we go on site and we train, it takes about 10 minutes to really get through all of the interface. And then after that, it just works. So a very common to I guess an iPhone interface, user manuals and stuff don't come at the iPhone, right? So you usually are picking it up pretty quickly. We do obviously deliver and deploy user manuals and information about the interface and all the features and functions. But what's also great about our product is that let's say that a judge or the JA, I guess, is stumped. If you put the controller on the network, any of the AV staff can actually get into it from a remote standpoint and push a button or walk them through something. So very, very easy to use and easy to service as well. So
That's great. And then we had a follow-up question around sort of the entry cost price point about what does that really include in terms of the displays, the wire runs, all of that. Does it include the installation of the equipment? I think you had touched on it, but maybe we
I'm
moved
going
too
to start
quickly.
from the infrastructure
Yeah.
just very briefly, and then you all can address the rest. But typically, if you do have a facilities department, I mean, you can certainly have facilities run the cable, so the cost of the cable, or I think you could budget $200 a run approximately with an EC, an electrical contractor. And obviously, you want to make sure that you have something that you can expand with. So, running very good cable, Cat 6A, right? So, um, uh, and then, of course, just the cost of the switch, as well as a router if it was a mobile cart type situation. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, from an AV perspective, right? I mean, it's that those costs are all in, right? We've built the solution to be pre-engineered, pre-designed, and pre-configured, so it works out of the box, right? So as we deploy Easy Court solutions, all of the heavy lifting has already been pre-established. So when we talk about these costs of a $50,000 courtroom or a $70,000 or less courtroom, it's because we're saving a lot with the pre-engineered, pre-designed, and pre-programmed type of solution. All of that money is wrapped into development, so it's not directly paid for by that individual court because it's not a custom solution, right? So that's where we were really helping bring those costs down for the clients. So Again, court costs vary based on the size of the solution, depending on how many, how big of a courtroom you have. But at the end of the day, it's a fraction of what a traditional system would be.
Yeah. And I'll also add, I mean, a lot of our customers don't even do a fixed installation where they put the cables inside a conduit. A lot of them just put them over the, I guess, existing area, I guess, and floor, and they'll put a track down or something of that nature. Again, if you got an older courthouse, you got asbestos issues, the cost to rerun all the cable and wire and do any type of remediation in that room could easily outweigh any of the budget available on the technology. So being able to put down a couple of cables on the ground if you need to can be a very still a cost-effective way of doing it. So
yeah, that's a great point, Philip. Absolutely.
And then I had just a question if somebody could talk about security and any security assurances that there may be. If you can talk about that a little bit.
Sure,
I'll
Philip. I'll let. Oh, go ahead, Nicole.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
sorry, Greg. I'll hop in just from like the infrastructure side, layer 1 through 4,
Absolutely.
right? So very common to separate your VLANs, but most of these courtrooms, we've made it so easy where you can use just 1 or 2 VLANs and keep them separate from whatever your data side is if you are uplinking to the data side. So as an old IT person, we love to separate our VLAN from a security perspective. We also do, radius authentication. There's different mechanisms that can work in coordination with the IT side if they do want that uh, uh, traditional uplink. The also you can very easily block ports, and there's SSH, of course. So that's just from a layer 1 through 4 kind of perspective. So
yeah, and
And
I'll
that's where it
piggyback on
starts,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each of our designs is typically a closed to loop system. So it's contained in the courtroom. And so as Nicole said, pre-engineered VLANs are really there to allow access into the data network side, primarily for a Zoom PC, a Teams PC, something of that nature, which then would only be connected to our system over a USB cable, which is not actually routable. So you're safe and secure from that standpoint. Also, you're not pushing out, large multicast information into the network either. So there's no way of joining or getting into the system. So that way, and then all the systems, because they're closed in that system, you really have to have administrative access to get in, know the usernames and passwords of the infrastructure in order to even get access into any of the systems. And then I'll take a step on top of that. Most of that is not PII information. So all the PII information is going to be on the recording platform. Well, the court keeps and controls all of that information. So completely separate. All we are, I guess, is basically a conduit of that information, all the audio and the video. We push that over into, uh, push it over into the recording system of their choice. They keep and maintain all that and archive it. So.
Well, does anyone else have any other questions? Or if anyone wants to raise their hand, I can unmute you and you can feel free to ask your question of the panel directly. Feel free to do so. I'm just going to check, make sure I didn't miss anything in any of the other places. And so while we wait to see if there's any others, I really just wanted to see if anyone wanted to comment a little bit more about, what this idea of the modern courtroom AV means for the judicial system. If we just wanted to talk a little bit about what the real benefits are beyond just better quality proceedings. What is the power behind doing this? Why implement these new
I would
technologies?
say inclusivity, right? Being able to allow participants who may be in a remote environment to participate in a hearing that they may traditionally not be able to get to. right? So the use of Teams and Zoom and the hybrid aspect and remote aspect of these proceedings is allowing for many more people who maybe financially couldn't afford to attend a proceeding in person because they're in remote Alaska somewhere and can't afford a flight or whatever the case might be, allows those folks to participate in these proceedings. So I think that's a big one there. But like you said, we spoke about it a little bit earlier with with the onset of the pandemic, that it changed the way courts do business forever, right? And I think it allows for more people to spend time and effort and resources investing in something that's so important in our community, in everyone's community, right? So this is a very, very important topic. It's a very important aspect of technology that we're dealing with because it affects everybody's lives on a day-to-day basis. So we're excited to be a part of it, and I think that it's always evolving. And Philip does a great job of staying on top of market trends and understanding, where we can, as a company, can evolve and bring new technology and advancements to these types of to the judicial community while helping them still maintain their business processes, but do it affordably. So that's our mission.
Yeah. I love it. AV serving justice.
Yeah.
But also that it's democratizing it as well. The AV
Absolutely.
solutions for not just large uh, um, municipalities and large outfits or large budgets. That this really is looking at everywhere, which are probably more in need
Yep.
anyway of solutions like these. So, if there are no further questions, I'd love to just open it up to you, Nicole, Phil, and see if there's anything else you wanted to chat about sort of as we wrap things up. Anything that we may have missed?
No, if you can, like I said, include a link to the CEC, to the community, that'd be great. I feel like anybody on the call, if you know a court that has a need, is interested in technology but just never been able to afford it, we'd love to have the conversation. We'd love to talk to those folks and help them understand, look, there is a solution for you out there. You just have to find us. And that's what we're all about.
Yep. Yeah, and I would just add on that, you know, all the people on this call, PTZOPtics and NETGEAR and BEINCOURT, we've really taken the best of breed of equipment, done a lot of design and R&D. We're willing to share everything that we have done. We're willing to turn it over to you and your team and your staff. We'll even teach you how to maintain it, operate it yourself so you don't have a recurring expense. Anything that we can do to make it better for you guys. We've even integrated his Starlink into our system. So as Greg said earlier, right, you could be in San Diego where you've got great internet everywhere, or you could be 50 miles east of San Diego where you have nothing. And you have to stand up a Starlink to be able to bring people into Teams and Zoom. So it's really all of that, everything in between, and we can fit your court and jurisdiction in your budget with whatever the one-time costs are or the recurring expenses are, because all of this equipment is extremely good and reliable, and you can count on it. So.
And if I could just add to that too, one thing that we offer that is quite unusual in the industry is any sort of design support questions. Nicole, we're just not sure how to set up this switch. We set up a remote session. We help you with the proper design. If you're uplinking to like a Cisco or an Extreme, for example, we help you with what you need to do as far as uplinking to a data side. We do all that at no charge at all. You can email us. One thing that's unique about us as well is that we have a true lifetime warranty on our AV switches. So if our switch dies 8 years from now, we replace it at no cost, which is pretty unheard of in the
That's
industry.
amazing.
It really is. It really is. So you can always email us, and we help put designs together, help you once you get your switch or switches on how to configure it as well. As a matter of fact, I am using Starlink over a couple of my AV switches right now. So I have
Yeah,
no,
right.
I don't even have DSL where I am. So there you go.
Wow. Well, and I'll close too, just on the PTZOptics sides. We love working with partners like you both, because we have different options available, and our camera options, whether it's fixed or the actual PTZ cameras for remote robotic control and Zoom. You all help customers choose the right mix, what they need now. And because of this nice plug and play solution and leveraging the protocols like NDI connectivity, it is easier for people to then grow and add additional views and additional angles to their location as they need and their budgets grow. And so that's why we really love and hope and enjoy bringing these new types of technologies to our different customer bases. So I would encourage everyone to check out BEINCOURT and definitely reach out and get a demo, even if you're just interested in what the options are out there today, even if you're not ready right now. And feel free to always reach out to us at PTZOptics.com. Send in any of your questions. We can connect you with everyone as well, or with one of the experts on our team. But with that said, if there's nothing else, I'd love to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank this great panel for sharing their knowledge.
Thank you
Right.
for hosting it. We greatly appreciate it, and thanks to those who attended for taking time out of your day. We really
Yeah.
appreciate you, and we'd love to serve you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Everybody.
one.
All
Bye.
right, bye-bye.